Hey guys, welcome into the Stinkin Truth Podcast. I am Mark Schlereth alongside my partner Mike Evans. And week 3, well, it's not quite in the books yet. It'll be in the books after tonight, Monday night. But a lot of stuff going on in week 3. This has been one of those weekends where it's typical NFL weekend, right? Just when you think you know what's going to happen, the script gets flipped and it gets turned on its head.
Indianapolis is beating Baltimore with Gardner Minshew in Baltimore. Houston's slamming Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Yeah, it's one of those things that every once in a while when you think you know the league is going to zig, it zags.
Yeah, that's
there are some things that are reliable, right? Like just when you think it's safe to trust the Cowboys.
Yes, yeah, that's one that's pretty typical. Is like the Cowboys, and I've said this before about the Cowboys: big hat, no cattle. Like the Cowboys, and I said that about the fans, but it's about their organization in general. Because the Cowboys are one of those teams that I think reads their own press clippings. And they get back and they finish and, there's probably not a lot of papers today, but there's probably like the Fort Worth Star or some crap like that, right? And they get up there and they read about, man, how good we are. We could be the best defense in the history and blah, 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 blah. And Micah Parsons this and this guy this and Dak Prescott. And then you go to Arizona to play the Cardinals, who, by the way, all you, and you know who you are, all you beat writers and all you reporters and all you national analysts that were saying, oh, there's clear evidence that they're trying to tank. Jonathan Gannon has got them playing their asses off. And yeah, from a talent standpoint, maybe they're not most of the talented team. But the Arizona Cardinals, you should be proud of them as a team in general, the way they're playing, because they're kicking ass.
You did their game week 1 and 2.
Week 1 and 2,
Week one, you came back and you told me, hey, this Arizona team plays hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and defensively, they're incredibly talented. Even though you don't know the names, they're really talented. They've got a good rotation up front, a lot of good players up front. Ledbetter is a guy that I was just thoroughly impressed with. So they've got a couple guys up front. Then Zaven Collins was a middle linebacker. They moved to the edge. He's a good player. They've got a couple of Dennis Gardeck is a really good young player. So they've put a lot of guys out there that are good young players, but man, they play tied together. They play incredibly hard, and I tell you what, offensively, James Conner is having a really good season. Like they've done a lot of really good things, but the bottom line to me is this is a football team that is playing really hard for one another. They know they're limited from a talent standpoint, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They use that as maybe a rallying cry for their football team. And then you got the Dallas Cowboys that just read their press clippings, get fat and happy with who they are and where they're at, and they just think they can walk in, that they can walk in and put their boots on your coffee table. Like that, you can't do that, especially in this league. And so it's twofold for me. It's one, the Cowboys, being the Cowboys, and two, it's Arizona basically saying up yours to everybody in the National Football League who sold them down the river.
Maybe a silver lining, though, for the Cowboys is that it happened early enough in the season that's the kind of loss you can learn from.
Well, yeah, it happened early enough in the season that you can learn from that. Also, it happened early enough in the season so that you can forget about it when it comes playoff time and you can repeat it once again, right? So that's
relentless.
That's what the Cowboys. Well, that's what the Cowboys.
I tried, folks. I tried to get him to say something nice about the Cowboys. Well, he's relentless,
right? That's what the Cowboys do. So they'll say, "Hey, don't forget that Arizona game," and then they'll feel good about themselves rolling around playoff time. Like, hey, you know what? What you guys remember what happened in week 3? No, have no idea. Let's go forward. Like. Let's continue. There are no icebergs in this water. Full steam ahead, and then they'll get crushed in the playoffs.
You are amazing. Speaking of crush, 70-20. The Dolphins scored 70 against the Broncos. First time someone's hit 70 since 1966. There's 726 total yards, the most ever. Is this a case of the Dolphins being a juggernaut or the Broncos completely rolling over?
Well, I said this last week, like from the perspective of the Dolphins, how do you want us to beat you? because they've got the ability to beat you, and I'm looking for this real quick, this email or this text message. So they've got the ability to beat you.
I know what you're looking for.
Yeah,
You talk.
I found it. Any way they want to beat you, they can beat you. That, like, you want us to run it down your throat, you want us to run it to the edges, and you want us to play a physical style of offense, run it down your throat. You want us to outflank you and run it around the edges. Do you want us to throw it over the top of your head or underneath where you can't catch us and we break tackles and run by you? Like, every way you want to get beaten, they have the ability to beat you that way, and that's exactly what they did to the Denver Broncos. Now, oftentimes when I'm watching film and I'm preparing for a game, you can tell what a team thinks of you based upon the way they game plan you. And so here's what the Miami Dolphins said through what unfolded on the football field about the Denver Broncos. We don't believe that you guys have the talent to threaten us. That's what they said. Because they said, listen, not only are we going to run it down your throat, not only are we going to get it to the edge, but we're going to throw it over the top of your head, and we're going to throw it underneath on all these shallow crosses, essentially saying we'll get 5 guys out in the pattern anytime we want 5 guys out in the pattern. We're not afraid of any of your pass rushers, and we're not afraid of any of you guys from a run defense standpoint, where there's nowhere we can't run it. Like, we don't have to stay away from a certain side of the football field or a certain area of the football field, because we'll run it anywhere on you guys. And it's exactly what they did, to the tune of 726 yards of offense, 376 yards passing, 350 rushing the football, Mike.
Let me read these numbers. Dolphins, 2 plays of 67-plus yards, 4 plays of 52-plus yards, 8 plays of 20-plus yards, 11 plays of 19-plus yards. They had 376 yards passing, 350 yards rushing. They had 5 passing touchdowns. They had 5 rushing touchdowns. They had 13.4 yards per pass attempt passing, and their 3 running backs combined to average almost 9 yards per carry.
Right. So
they scored 10 touchdowns in a football game.
Okay, so 2, 4, that's 6, 8, that is 14 and 11 explosive plays. So that's 25 explosive plays, correct? Did I do that math right? 25 explosive plays, and you can expect to like, most people in the NFL will tell you, analytics-wise, each explosive play that you have on the offense, your expected score is about 2.7 to 2.8 points per explosive play. So that's 25 explosives, and let's give them 2.8 points per play. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I did that. 25 explosives times 2.8 per. What does that number come out to?
70.
70 on the 70. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. 70 on the nose. Listen, man, you have that kind of.
Mark's so happy when he masters math.
Oh my gosh, I am so bad at pretty much everything. English, math, anything from a learning standpoint. I'm not real learned. I didn't do real well in the schooling. So, but my gosh, that is just, that's a Shawshank, Andy Dufresne meet the sisters in the laundry room. Like, that's the kind of beatdown that was.
So impressive stuff offensively.
By the way, can I just say one thing again? As a Bronco.
Well, let's get to the elephant in the room.
Well, there's a couple elephants in the room, but as a Bronco, there hasn't been anybody score 70 points since 1966. This is almost 6 decades since somebody hung 70 on someone. Like, this is thoroughly the most embarrassing loss that I have witnessed in my time here in Denver and that I have witnessed in the NFL. And then, not once but twice, I watched the Broncos DBs when they're absolutely getting thunderstruck. I mean, the first incompletion of the game for Tua, and you're already up, I think, 35-10 or something.
He started 16 for 16.
Yeah, the first incompletion, and the receiver wasn't covered. Let's not get it twisted. He wasn't covered. It was the first errant throw of the game, and it fell incomplete. And a Denver DB went like this. Like, not in my house. Dude, you don't live in your house. You live in a tent down by the river. You don't live in your house. Like, you're not even in your driveway. Not in my house. I mean, I just about flipped the lid. As a matter of fact,
tell the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Story
do.
time with Stinkin,
yes,
everybody.
I do.
Gather around.
So I do the Atlanta at Detroit game. And so I get on my flight in Detroit, and I'm flying Detroit to Chicago, Chicago back to Denver. So we get on in the flight, and they shut the doors and everything, and then we proceed to sit there, and we sit there, and we sit there. And ultimately, the captain gets on several different times and tells, we got a mechanical, the net downstairs and the baggage, we got to replace the net, it's ripped, and this, that, it's a hydraulic issue. And they're essentially holding us hostage on this plane, right? Now, that's what they're doing. Now, I don't complain a lot. Like, I'm not one of those guys that says, this airline, and da-da-da. Like, if I take off and land without a crash, it's been a successful trip, right? So if I get delayed for a couple hours, I've got stuff I can do, right? So I decide I'm going to get out my iPad. I get my iPad out and I put up the game. And so I got my headphones in and I'm watching the game and I'm right there. And, I'm sitting because Fox, God bless them, they fly me first class. And so I'm sitting there in first class and got a vodka soda, and I'm watching this. And I get to like that point in the game. And I'm sitting and I got the headphones on so I hear the whole game going on. And everybody's sitting there and everybody's irritated, da-da-da. And I watch this play and I watch this guy wag his finger and I go, you got to be fucking shitting me. And I was like, sorry. Man, everybody thought I was complaining about the flight. I was like, no, I'm not complaining about the flight. I go, it's the Broncos. They're like, we understand. We perfectly understand. I mean, it was the damnedest thing. And that didn't happen once, it happened twice. So the reason I even bring it up, Mike, is because how unaware, read the freaking room, you're down by 30. Like, you're getting your ass kicked. You don't catch, like, Cortland Sutton did it too. He caught a ball on a first down, they're down by 20. First down. I mean, I want to fire I want to cut everybody. And the fact, like, right now, we sit here Monday, and nobody's been fired yet. Like, there has been no consequence to what's gone on here.
Sean Payton already pretty much put the kibosh on any of that happening. What about Payton? What about Sean Payton? Here was a guy you really loved the hiring because you felt, hey, this is somebody who's going to be the adult in the room. He's going to come and he's going to bring some fear into that building that they desperately need, change the culture. But he does the interview with USA Today in which he calls out Nathaniel Hackett, who was the coach last year, says it was maybe the worst coaching job in NFL history. And now he just had a team that got beat 70-20. Where's Peyton in all this, and what does he do with all this?
How about that for football karma?
Right?
Saying it's the worst coaching job ever, and you got it shoved up your ass for 70 points. 70 points. 7 with a 0 right after it. Points. Yeah, it was pathetic. And listen, man, like, anybody who's ever played this game has had their ass kicked. Physically, you've been whooped. But to give up 70 and for your team to roll over, I mean, they quit. It was hot. It was hot. It
Sticky.
was uncomfortable.
Batwing game.
I had bat wings. My nuts stuck to my thighs on the sideline. It was uncomfortable. I had no Gold Bond powder to make sure there was like, it slid. I didn't like it. I want to go home. Like, if they had ruby slippers, there'd have been 14 guys on the team who said, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And they would have just vanished, disappeared. I think back to my day, the way we used to punish. We used to get punished for losing, like literally punished. I kid you not, I believe this to be true. And I'm not kidding you. If when I played under Mike Shanahan and we got beat 70-0,
70-20.
well, 50 points, whatever. I don't give a shit. If we got beat 70-20, I'm almost 100% positive Mike Shanahan would have canceled the flight and made us bus home. Like, we'd be sitting here Monday morning right now going up a hill through Missouri. Yeah, I mean, it would have just been, and they'd have just had the game on a loop.
Yeah.
And Mike, who's like Fire Marshal Bill back in the day, right? Always laying in the tanning bed.
Yeah.
And he'd just been standing there, red face like this the whole time, looking at us. We'd have been like, it'd have been like in grade school. We wouldn't even had Greyhounds. We'd have had school buses, right?
That's right.
And it would have been 3 guys to every school. Like, we're all sitting in there. Like, it would have just been absolute punishment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we'll see what happens if anything happens there. The Jets and the Patriots. Another Patriot victory over the Jets. That's 15 straight now. Mm-hmm. What's your message to Jet fan, to Patriot fan? It just feels like they're just two teams that are kind of caught in the AFC middle.
Well, I mean, middle,
bottom.
yeah, bottom third. I mean, listen. I'm glad that the Patriots have won 15 in a row over the Jets, you know. That's like being the smartest kid in the dumb kid class. Like, you know, I mean, it's like I'm in the dumb class, but I'm the smartest one of these dumbasses. Like, and that's my own educational experience, by the way. I was one of the smart dumb kids. I just want you guys to know that. But seriously, like what does that mean? Here's my takeaway from watching that game: is Zach Wilson can't play. Now he'll put some plays together because he's that talented. But I mean, how many games do you have to give him to realize that he's not the answer? And how many great defensive performances do you have to waste before you make a move? I get that you have a desire. I get that you want him to be good. But some guys, this game is overwhelming to them. And listen, I mean, I'm not saying that he put a good touchdown drive together where it was really good. He made some throws that were great. It's everything else. It's the inconsistency. It's the bad plays just overwhelm the good plays. And then the other thing about Zach Wilson for me is how many times do I see him try to escape out of the back of the pocket and turn what would be a 2-yard sack into a 12-yard sack. And the next thing you know, you got to punt again and put it all on your defense. Like, it's just time and time and time again where you don't have a timing or a rhythm in your head. You don't understand when the play has to, like, when you're responsible to get rid of the football, when you got to bail your team out of a potentially bad play, when you've got to just throw one away and live to fight another day. But no, you take a sack, you get 12-yard loss, bam, you take a sack in the end zone. You know, it's just time and time and time again. And the one or two good throws or the one or two good drives don't make up for all the crap that we see on a week-to-week basis. Like, I don't know what the Jets do. You know, I don't know who you turn to. I don't know if there's somebody out there that you could trade for. I don't know, but
just hope for a speedy recovery for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but even if he has the speediest recovery in the world, you're going to be out of the playoffs.
Oh, no, you're already thinking about next year.
Okay. Well, Aaron said, Aaron was like, he thought he could maybe come back with the play. There's no. Yeah, you got it. Well, you got to make a move.
What about Mac Jones? 3 games into Mac and Bill O'Brien?
Listen, they played Miami tough.
Yeah.
They played Miami tough, and we saw what Miami just dismantled the Denver Broncos. By the way, after that performance, Tua, he's got to be your MVP frontrunner right now, right?
Doesn't he have to be?
He has to be, because they only give it to quarterbacks.
Well, yeah.
They don't give it to it's a non-football player. The MVP of the league is for non-football players. It's a non-football. It's a non-football player award.
So you're trying to tell me that the quarterback isn't the most valuable player in football?
No, he's a quarterback.
Player. Most valuable player. He's still a player.
Yeah, but he doesn't play football. He plays quarterback.
Oh, jeez.
I think it should be. I think that the MVP should only go to quarterbacks or punters. The two guys that don't actually, and kickers. Kickers can be MVPs too, because they don't actually they kick, they punt, and they play quarterback.
Moving along,
please
here,
do.
folks. Life continues to just get better and better for the Chiefs. Not only are they just rolling up victories, but now they're the home of Taylor Swift. They are the favorite team of Taylor Swift, which I'm sure maybe there's some Eagle fans out there wondering, hey, wait a minute, I thought we were your favorite team.
Right.
But now it's the Chiefs and Travis Kelce.
She's a flipper. She's a flip-flopper. She is a flip. I literally think she's just doing this so that she can break up and write an album. And I told you, my theory on the album
This is a good theory.
Was they're going to break up. But I started to think it was just because Travis was going to do something stupid.
Uh-huh.
But I'm starting to think that this is her motive. This is why she gets into relationships. She has no intention of actually pursuing the relationship for long term. It's just about material.
Dude, you better be careful here. I mean, I know you have had some celebrated Twitter battles with fan bases. Do you really want to go toe-to-toe with the Swifties?
No.
You will lose. You will lose.
I understand that. But come on, Swifties.
Uh-oh.
I mean, come on, Swifties. Like, you don't really want her to find love. You want her to find heartbreak so that she can write another great album, so that you guys can celebrate another great. Isn't that? So that's like I said. My thought process on the album would be tight ends, loose morals. It's a breakup story, and
I try to warn you.
I'm not.
I try to warn you.
I don't think she wants a long-term relationship because it'll ruin her writing skills.
You don't want her to be happy.
No, I think she's very happy
writing about breakups.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's her motif.
Okay.
By the way, did you see that not only was she just, well represented during the Kansas City game. I was in an airport somewhere watching, but not only like this kept going to her and the excitement, but then I heard that Travis Kelce rented a restaurant so that he and the Chiefs could go celebrate and she could come with him. So she's not, because she's that famous. Is she the most famous person in the world right now?
Right now, yeah. 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 She's the biggest entertainer in the world. Although Usher's going to be performing at halftime.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo.
Whoop-de-doo.
Usher's a nice guy.
The Bears were on the receiving end of the Taylor Swift, Jason Kelce show at Arrowhead. Another terrible performance by Justin Fields and the Bears. Where are they going with this? This isn't going to work, right?
That's got to you always kind of start thinking about hot seats. That's got to be the hot seat number one, right? And what did I tell you? Like, coaches always want to take these quarterbacks who are athletes and they want to morph them into more drop back and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And then, Justin Fields comes out last week and they ask him a pointed question about, why he's not playing well. And, and he had mentioned that, that he was just like not, I'm paraphrasing, but basically saying, too robotic and everything else. And then they asked him and he said, well, coaching. And then he, tried to backtrack it. But he claimed that, against your job to take it out of context. There was nothing out of context. You said one of my big problems and why I'm playing so robotic is the coaching. Like, there was no qualifiers in there that were left out. It's exactly what you said. But here's the point. The point is, you understand as a coach and as a coaching staff that the viability, the long-term viability of playing that style of football is probably not. It just isn't going to be viable long-term. It's just not going to be sustainable long-term. And so you're trying to get the protection of the pocket. You're trying to make guys more, have a better pocket presence. And that's a process. It takes a long time to get that, especially when, your default mechanism throughout your whole life, but from the time you were a little kid is I'm a better athlete than everybody else. So I can outrun them, I can juke them, I can do whatever. Like when that becomes part of your DNA, part of your imprint, it's hard to all of a sudden go, okay, I'm going to ignore what my DNA and my instinct says, and I'm going to be a pocket guy. I don't think you can do that.
Does Fields understand that this is for his own benefit? That this is, hey, look, we'd like you to be able to play quarterback for us for 10, 15 years. The only way you can do that is if you become a pocket quarterback. And you may not like it, you may chafe at it right now, but this is for your own good long term.
Yeah, I'm sure that he does. But at the same time, you can't say, okay, hey, listen, we're going to transition from the yellow pad to this pad. Go. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Like, I like the yellow. Yeah, it takes some getting used to, and that's probably a really bad example, but it takes getting used to. And ultimately, I don't think you can throw the whole thing on him. I think it has to be piecemealed little by little by little, like building blocks. And at this point, I would assume, or it would appear, that they put too much on him too early. And again, I understand.
This is year 3.
Well, I get that, but you're talking about this is how I've done things my entire life. And I've had this conversation with Michael Vick. And, when you've always been the best athlete on the planet and you've always been able to make everybody miss, it's hard. It's hard to say, okay, let me ignore that. Let me ignore what I've always done. And so I think that's something that is totally legitimate.
Couple of quick lightning round topics.
Sure.
Here you go. The game you did yesterday, Detroit and Atlanta. Biggest takeaway from the game you did?
That the Atlanta Falcons are a really good football team that really struggle in the passing game, and Detroit knew that. The other thing is the toughness of Detroit. I'll tell you something right now, and I think as a national analyst and just as people in general, we don't really look at this. And I asked Jared Goff, hey, do you get pissed that you're constantly overlooked? And he's like, no, it's fine. I go, so you're lying to me. You do get pissed, right? And he's like, well, maybe a little bit I get pissed. You look at Jared Goff's numbers since he's been to Detroit. He is he's top 10, top 5 in pretty much every category. The guy is a phenomenal quarterback. And now get this. They lost both their starting safeties. They've lost 2-3 starting offensive linemen. I think they came into that game with about 6 legit injuries, and they put it on Atlanta. No excuses, Dan Campbell. Hey, man, the train keeps on rolling. No excuses. We're going to go. They are a tough, hard-nosed, gritty football team. They take on the persona of their coach. The Detroit Lions are legit.
Jordan Love gained a lot of traction with Packer fans with that fourth quarter comeback.
No question. And, that was a game where they were down 17-0. Carr goes out with, I think
shoulder.
It was a shoulder. Yeah, goes out injured. And you got to give Jordan Love a lot of credit for staying in there. And he really was, struggling up at that point. But he started putting together a little bit, and the Packers come back and win that game 18-17 and cost me in that. They cost me.
Yep. First loss for you in the Moneymaker picks.
I know. First loss.
Steelers trying to get back to their identity. They played a little black and blue football last night against the Raiders?
Yeah, and I think
it is the Raiders.
It is the Raiders, and that's what you do with the Raiders. The other thing, you play that way because you respect Max Crosby so much, and he can wreck your game. So one of the things you go in saying, hey man, we can't let that guy wreck our game. So we got to be able to slow him down. We've got to be able to rush the ball. We got to be able to kind of take him out because he plays with that kind of effort and that kind of tenacity. So that's smart coaching by the Steelers.
Finally, the Chargers survived the battle of 0-2 teams, barely. Brandon Staley with another one of those head-scratching fourth down go-for-its.
From the 20, I think his own 24-yard line.
That nearly blew up in his face.
Right.
Should have blown up in his face.
Yeah, and until, you tip ball Kirk Cousins, I mean, I guess you're weighing, like the analytics say, okay.
I know where you're going with
Fourth and one, we've got a 67% chance to convert, right? And if we do, then they'll be out of timeouts and we just kill the clock, okay? So you're going on the 67% chance.
Right.
So you don't, but then you're like, okay, but there's a second analytics.
I knew
the second analytics is there is a 78% chance that Kirk is going to fuck this up, right? So they're like, even if we don't convert.
It's science.
It's science. So if you add the two, 67 and 78 or 7, whatever I said, it's like a 97% probability we're going to win this game.
One way or the other.
One way or the other. It's going to happen.
Genius.
It's going to happen.
Genius.
Pardon my French. If my dad's listening, Dad, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Kirk Cousins fans, we apologize.
No, I don't. I think Kirk Cousins fans feel the same way. You know what? I love Kirk Cousins. He's a great guy. I think that was a tip ball for the pick, right in the end zone. It just seems to follow some guy like this. He is like the Cowboys of Minnesota.
There you go.
He's just going to find a way.
Full circle.
Yeah, come full circle. For everybody involved in the Stinkin Truth Podcast, I am Mark. We appreciate you, Mike. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with you here in the next couple of days.